Welcome back to another video. As I said in the last one, I'm bulk recording a couple while I'm away in Belgium, so if you want to stay subscribed, and you'll see that in a week or two. It's going to be good. You're going to see a few different photo walks from a few different cities in Belgium. You're probably going to see me eat Belgian chocolate. Who knows? I technically haven't been there yet. In this video, we're going to be doing a little bit of critique work on my past stuff. I've been going through my website. I've got my pen in hand. I'm going to do some annotation, and we're going to talk about pictures that I've taken and talk about why I took them and the thing that I saw when I was taking the photo. Some of them are more technical than others, if you will. Some of them just look nice. So I think it's good to make that clarification, right? Not all pictures are technical masterpieces. Not all of them are using certain photography techniques. Some of them you just take because you think they look really nice. For example, this first one that I took in Turin that you can see on screen. How do I, there you go. You can see that on screen. I don't think that there is anything technical about this image, but I absolutely love it. If I do some annotation, I think that's how I do it. Ah, there you go. I can do annotation. There's nothing here other than you've got this guy in the middle that's walking through this archway, and you've got the light coming in from both sides. I think the reason it looks so nice is because the guy is so small here and everything else is so grand that it just puts a bit of scale to the image. This was taken in Turin in a recent video, so if you want to see that, it's on the channel. It's not technical at all, but I do love the image, and the reason I took it was because we was walking around this palace, and then this hallway is so long. This was taken in like the first third of the hallway. It extended so far back the other direction, and it was on a day that there was a military parade, and this guy walking through the archway, although you cannot see, he is a military man. He's got his hat in his hand and he's standing here, and it just gives a little sense of mystery, if you will, with the image. And the archways all look nice, and as I said, the windows are symmetrical throughout, and it's letting nice even light in from both sides, and the light is sort of framing the subject because the subject is in sort of the darkest part. The actual doorway that he's coming through is the darkest part, and sure, there's a lot of light behind him, but he's in the darkest part of the image. So it creates a lovely silhouette. You can see what's happening because of the light behind him, and he's sort of positioned perfectly in the center of that archway. But the archway itself is quite dark. The windows are drawing light towards the dark side of the image because the windows are letting light in and drawing your eye to the center. And as well with the tiles and the way the camera was positioned being quite low to the floor, the tiles are all leading in that direction. If you look at the tiles themselves, they're all in a straight line if you were looking at it from head level, but because the camera was lower to the ground, all the tiles are sort of moving in the direction of the doorway. So it's all drawing your eye in to the subject, and the subject, even being so small, is still the main focus point of this image, which is great. And that's why I took that image. Like I say, not because it's technical, because it's just nice to look at, and at the same time shows exactly what I wanted to take a photo of and shows exactly what I wanted to capture, being that subject. The next one, again, is a bit more something that you've got to think about. This was taken in Prague last year, and it is just a guy changing a light bulb, but with the positioning of the camera being that the sun is directly behind the actual light that he's changing the light bulb in, it looks like he's changing the sun, and the sun being positioned directly where I want it to be in the center of the lamp, it looks like he's fixing something that can't be fixed. You know, the sun breaking through those clouds, he's trying to turn on the light, but the light's already lit up by the sun, sort of thing, and everything else is quite dark and in orange colors here because it's sunrise. But this is your focus point. You're drawn directly to this guy doing something with this light, but the light is already lit because it's lit up by the sun. I thought it was quite godlike, if you will. Like, you know, it's taken on a bridge filled with religious statues and stuff like that, but I thought, you know, with the sun being lit here, it gave me sort of a religious element, and I'm not a religious person, so I could be completely wrong, but it just, yeah, I don't know, it just looked nice at the time of taking it, and I still think it looks nice, and I still think that with the light being positioned in the exact point I wanted it when I was at the photo, it worked. And the fact that he was actually doing something with that light, right time moment, you know, it was one of those things where it was just the right place at the right time, and I think it looks quite nice. The next one is a bit more technical. It's this one taken in Amsterdam, and again, you can see that on the channel if you want to, but this is slow shutter in an art museum. You've got this frame here which is in focus, you've got our subject here who is not. It was taken at like 1/4 of a second, so you've got the woman moving past the picture but at the same time looking at the camera, and you can see that even though she is a blur. And with the camera being stable enough so the photo frame is in frame, it looks like this person is coming out of the image. Looks like this human is linked with this painting somehow, and I think it looks really nice. Everything else is in darkness, you can't see anything. It's taken in monochrome, so there's no colours to distract you. You've got the frame and the human, and that is it. And it looks like the ghost of this girl is come out the painting in a way, and that's how I've always described the image. It looks quite nice. It was quite technical in terms of finding the subject that fits it and the subject looking at the camera. There wasn't many people walking past this frame, everyone was looking at the image because it is quite a famous painting, but it was this one person at the end of a crowd of people that decided to look at me rather than the painting, the same way that the girl is looking at me. So they are linked in a way. And I think that looks quite nice. I think it works quite well. And yeah, I'm really happy I took this photo. I think it's one of my favourites from Amsterdam. I think it's one of my favourites that I've taken this year, actually. Yeah, it looks quite nice. Next one was taken absolutely ages ago. This was taken in York. And again, it's more of a photo to me that looks nice than is anything technical. But this is a jeweller's, and it is just these two people matching their surroundings. So the flowers, in terms of colour, are purple, pink, and darker pink, and red, and a hint of green. And then you've got the blue of the man's jacket, the purple of the lady's coat, you've got the whites of their hair that link in with the lighter tones of the pink, and it just links to their surroundings. Again, there's nothing special here in terms of technique, but it is really complementary to each other. And I feel like being able to match subjects almost perfectly to their surroundings creates a really nice image to look at. Now, it's not like they're central, they're not here in the image. They are off to the side. So it's using sort of the rule of thirds a little bit if you want to go into that. But no, I took this image more because of how they match their surroundings up here, for example, or over here. So even though they are not in the center, or if this person's not here and this person's not here, so they're not balancing the image. But in a way, this image is balanced because you've got the people here matching these flowers over here because they're wearing the same colors as the flowers. So the picture's matching, even though, and it's mirrored, even though they're all off to one side. If you know what I mean, that's why I like that image. And it was taken, they were only like stopping briefly, so it's taken at the right time as well. So I think that is another thing that I really like about that image. And then you got this one, which is more documentarian than I'm used to, but I do like this image. This was a major protest last year on Remembrance Sunday. It was a bunch of Palestinian protesters just marching through the streets of London, basically. and there was hundreds and thousands of them. It was a sight to behold, and I took a few photos here, even though I don't tend to get involved in that sort of thing. But I really like this one, and there is a reason I really like this one. The facial expression of this person, clearly not matching the Palestinian flags all around him. He's wearing a Union Jack. It's sort of like he shouldn't be there. I don't know his intention for being there as a person, but taking it as a photograph, his facial expression, he looks confused more than anything. He's looking directly at the people passing him, and he's wearing the poppy. He's wearing symbolism of the British Union Jack and all that sort of stuff. And then around him you've got a sea of green, red and white, and that is everywhere around him. But the blue being central, it's sort of like, I don't know, it's weird. It's not like a political message or anything like that, but in a way it's like, you know, everyone's still getting on with their day, everyone's still doing their own thing, and as much as someone might have a different belief to someone else, there's no anger in his face, it's just confusion, and there's no disgust in anyone else's face or anything like that. Everyone's just getting on with their day, and it's just quite nice, and the colours are all complementary around the green, red and white, and then you've got the guy wearing blue, white and red. There's a link there, even though they are there for two completely different reasons. The protesters for Palestine were there for the Palestinian march. He was there clearly for Remembrance Sunday, which was the same day. So yeah, there's a meaning there. I don't quite know what the meaning is. I took it because of the facial expression, really. I saw him in the middle. He was trying to cross the road, but it was pretty impossible to cross the road with how many people there were. And he was just stuck in a sea of everyone protesting, shouting, flying flags, and he just looked lost. That's why I took the image. But I think I captured it at the right time because he was looking at the people behind him in the right way, or there's a point where he's linking himself with them, interacting with them, even though it's non-verbal. So yeah, I like the image. I don't quite know the message behind it. I don't know why I took it, other than the fact that it was something crazy at the time, you know, that sea of people walking through London. And yeah, I think it looks nice. I think it's a good image. I think it symbolises that people might not have the same beliefs, but they still get along with their day. Sam from about 5 minutes in the future here. I thought I'd just talk about something that this picture could mean. I didn't know 5 minutes ago, but maybe I do now. The fact that this was happening all on Remembrance Sunday, right? Remembrance Sunday being a thing that we do to remember people that were lost in conflict. And this protest also being something to get people to understand that there is conflict still going on and there is loss of life still happening. But some people might not replicate that as the same thing. Remembrance Sunday being something to remember fallen soldiers, surrounded by people trying to tell the world that soldiers are still falling. I think that might be the meaning. Humanitarianism, and how diverse London is. Everyone has their own different beliefs, but everyone still intermingles and gets mixed up in everyone else's culture. It's quite nice that everyone can try and understand everyone. Some people don't understand anyone, and that's fine too, you know. But the fact that London is so diverse, you can capture these moments like that. Anyway, enough rambling to avoid it becoming a political mess. We'll talk about another image. Let's talk about this one. And I think this is the last one that I've got today to talk about. Again, taken in a recent video where I was talking about light and shadow. I think this encapsulates light and shadow perfectly. This was taken sort of golden hour time in the west side of London, and you've got the sun hitting the building that was behind me when I was taking the photo, reflecting off of the windows. That's what these little squares are, creating a really cool pattern on the floor and on the walls of the building. At this point I was like, I can capture someone hitting the light really nice, and that's what I did. I waited for this subject and they came in pretty quickly. There was a bookshop just down there and they came out of the bookshop, and being able to get them inside of one of these light things was able to give them, they were lit up perfectly. And the fact that it was taken monochrome again with the Leica, you can see that their clothes are still quite dark. They were wearing dark colour clothing, but the subject itself, her skin and her shoes and everything that accents her, is being lit up by the reflections coming off of the windows behind me. So although she's not centre frame, or again quite small in the image entirely, she's still very much seen. She's very much visible. She's, you know, if she was this big, she'd be seen, but it wouldn't be as cool of an image. I like the fact that there's scale to this image. I like the fact that you can see that this light goes all the way up to the top of the building, but again, waiting for someone to walk into these little patches of light will isolate them and show off that there is a human element to this picture. Yeah, I think a lot of my images are taken just because I like the look of them. There's not really anything technical about them, but sometimes there's technique in it, accidentally. I don't look at images purely because of the techniques that I use, but there's certainly times where I look at images and I think, yeah, they're pretty cool for this and that reason. And I think I'll do more of these, and hopefully I'll understand my images a bit better, because sometimes I just take them because I look at them and I think they look good, but then after reviewing them you think, no, I took this because this actually meant something at a time. If you want to see my images, these were all screenshots taken from my website, so if you want to see some more images from my website, link is in the description. You can have a look at all of my images and see if I'm actually technical at all. I'll let you decide, as well as me making more decisions like this in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.